What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where fans welcome. I'm excited to go through the Indianapolis Colts schedule today. We're going to go through every single week, every single opponent, talk about them a little bit, give you my win-loss prediction for the Colts this upcoming season. Little disclaimer, you're probably not going to be too happy with me. It's not a great win-loss ratio. And, quite frankly, I do think this is a solid football team, but I think their biggest problem are in two very, very important places on the field. You have cornerback and, mainly the entire secondary almost is, besides Julian Blackman or Ronnie Harrison Jr. or Kenny Moore. So other than those three players in the secondary, I have a bit of concerns about. Then you talk about quarterback. Look, I've stated many times in the past, and you guys have been around long enough, I'm not a big fan of Anthony Richardson. I really think he, at the end of the day, we're going to be looking at a really good football team with a lack of pass coverage and a lack of throwing the football. And quite honestly, to win in the NFL nowadays, you got to be able to pass the ball and you got to be able to stop the pass at a high level on both sides of the football. So that's kind of where the Colts lie right now with me. I'm not a fan of their passing defense, not a fan of their secondary. Now, the defensive line can definitely help the defense, and I think the defensive line is going to be in the front seven are going to be the engine of this defense. We're gonna get a lot of pressure, but are we going to be able to hold up in the back end when we play some of those better offensive lines? When we play when we play those more savvy quarterbacks like a Joe Burrow or like those really high end quarterbacks in the NFL. And to get anywhere in the AFC, you better be able to slow down the pass, and you better be able to keep up in the passing game, because you see how many guys you got, and we've seen the past couple of years running the football. It's awesome. It's good to slow down the game, but it's not going to stop Patrick Mahomes from going down the field. It's not going to stop Joe Burrow from going down the field. And on top of that, we got to deal with Aaron Rodgers, and in our own division, we have to deal with a piping red hot or piping white hot. Things are very, very hot, extremely hot. They become white, and a little sidebar there, but CJ Stroud is a monster, and we have to go up against him twice a year. Don't forget, they picked up a couple of really good players, and that gets us into our first game here. We're playing the Houston Texans, and I already have this one marked down as a loss. I have both games marked down as a loss, and let me tell you why. Exactly for the reasons I just mentioned, which really goes into the first game perfectly. And I invite you down in the comment section below to follow along with me and give me your win-loss prediction for the season. Who are they going to beat? Who are they going to lose to? I'd invite you to join the conversation in the comment section below. So the first game, I already said, I think the Colts, they're going to struggle against the Texans both times this year. Like I said, the Colts can run the football, and the Colts can stop the run at a high level. But they can't do the other two. Anthony Richardson, man, look, he's going to be able to run the ball really well. And Jonathan Taylor, he's going to run the ball at an elite level. And we actually have, for the first time in a long time, we have some serious talent at wide receiver. And the offensive line is more than enough to get us by. It's a pretty good offensive line. You look at the receivers, we have pretty good receivers. But it's not going to be enough to keep up with CJ Stroud. And they traded for big names. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. Robert Woods is listed as their fourth receiver, who is very, very solid number 2 option nowadays. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I could see week 1 being one of those kind of games where, like, wow, the Colts beat the Texans? How? But then, as the season goes on, to be like, the Colts beat the Texans? How? It's going to be one of those situations, because the Colts, it's week 1 too. The Colts haven't won in week 1 in like 10 years now, I think. It's been a long time. And, they always struggle in week 1 and in Jacksonville. We all know how the Colts are in those two parts of the schedule. And I don't think it's going to change this year. We're playing one of the best quarterbacks in the league with some of the best weapons in the NFL. You have a speedy Tank Dell. You have a very savvy route runner in Nico Collins. He has good hands as well. He proved himself to be a really good wide receiver 1 last year. And Tank Dell proved himself to be an awesome deep threat. And you add Stephon Diggs in the mix. And they still have that tight end from the Cowboys, Dalton Schultz, I think. And they have a good offensive line. Don't forget they signed Joe Mixon. the Colts aren't going to be able to keep up with the Texans. The Texans are probably going to romp all over the Colts, and the Colts are going to suffocate. That offense is not going to be able to keep up. Maybe they'll be able to run the ball really well, maybe have a couple big plays here and there, but it won't be nowhere near enough to take down the Houston Texans and CJ Stroud in week 1. Colts start 0-1. Next up, you travel into Green Bay to play the Packers. I have the Colts down as a win here. This is another one of those games where, I was just talking about the Texans as being one of those games. I think the Packers are going to be very good this year. They're going to be a very good football team. Jordan Love coming into his second year, and he hit stride the second half of last year, man. Jordan Love was incredible. He was awesome. I have no reason to believe why that's going to slow down unless he's just going to take a little while to get into the groove this season, like last season. But Jordan Love was absolutely awesome. I'm assuming we are going to see the same Jordan Love. Even if we don't see that Jordan Love, I still think, we may have a little bit of an issue. But I just think this is one of those games early in the season where the Colts are going to find a way to win that they probably shouldn't. And don't forget, we have Shane Steichen. He's very good at drawing up plays. He's very good at disciplining these players and keeping them responsible and all that. But I think this is one of those games in the beginning of the year. The Colts are going to find a way to win, and we're going to get a little bit of hope. They're going to beat a solid Packers team coming off of playoffs last year. And I think we find a way to beat the Packers. It's not going to be easy, but I think we're going to get a lot of pressure on Jordan Love. And I think that's going to help us out a little bit. Getting some pressure on him, us running the football. Packers don't have that great of a running defense. That plays to our strengths a little bit. So I do have us beating the Packers in week 2. Colts go 1-1. Next up, you have the Chicago Bears in week 3. I'm teeter-tottering back and forth in this one. I thought this one was tough to pick. Now, if the Bears had a better quarterback, if the Bears had a quarterback that could deliver the ball better, if they just had a better quarterback, I think, even with their situation now, I think Caleb Williams can beat up the Colts. But I think the Colts have a good chance to win this one against Caleb Williams and the Bears. They have really good receivers. They have DJ Moore. They drafted a couple guys, Romo Dunze. They have some really good talent on the offense and on the wide receiver spectrum and things. They have Cole Kmet, some really good tight end, good run blocking, pass blocking. He does it all. Cole Kmet is a really good tight end, really good weapon, really diverse in their weapon selection for Caleb Williams. But Caleb Williams is a problem. I don't think Caleb Williams is going to be that great in the NFL. A lot smaller windows. I think NFL teams are going to have a hard time getting behind this guy. I don't think he's a great leader. You see him crying a couple times on the sidelines last year, crying and just doing some things that really aren't, crying, fine, whatever, big things happen. But if you're going to be a leader, you got to be a little bit stoic and you got to be a little, strong. I'm not saying he's not strong mentally, but crying on the sideline by your mom and, whatever, it's not a good look as a leader, because all these other guys go through what they're going through. And, I just don't think that's a good look for a leader. But regardless, Caleb Williams, I'm not a big fan of him, but I think he can make it work against the Colts, considering how poor the defensive back room is, little experience. Caleb Williams doesn't have a lot of experience either, but I think the receivers that the Bears have are going to make it easy on Caleb Williams. And, but I think the pressure is going to get to Caleb Williams this game. The Colts have an awesome defensive line. The Bears have an okay offensive line. And Caleb Williams holds the ball for a very long time. He did in college. He always held the ball a long time in college. Accuracy is inconsistent. He makes poor decisions, and he's going to be under pressure a lot. So that's why I think the Colts are going to take this win. Although the Bears defense was incredible last year, the Bears defense found a really strong rhythm. They figured something out. The run defense was the best in the league, and I think the passing defense was the second best in the league. Something around there in terms of yards allowed in the rushing and passing category. Bears defense was very good. That's my point. And the Colts are going to have to be on their A game on offense. And I'm not sure what Anthony Richardson is going to be able to do. As I mentioned earlier, he's my main worry about this team. Anthony Richardson, he's an awesome playmaker, but he's not a good quarterback, if that makes sense. He can make a lot of plays on the ground. He can make big plays. While the big plays are very inconsistent, very far and in between in the passing game, If he makes, the right plays, if he's accurate downfield, which he's not a great down the field passer, and he's got a big arm as it is. Short and medium, it is what it is. He's not great, and that's something he's going to have to continue to get better at. But with him being hurt last year and him having some shoulder issues already in training camp, I mean, it's definitely worrisome. I think the Colts do find a way against the Bears, but, I mean, this one can go either way. Is Caleb Williams going to have a good day? Is he going to find a way to, defeat the Colts' pressure? And then, if the Bears' defense stays stout and they play like they did last year, I don't think the Bears' offense. I mean, the Colts are going to run the ball really well at a high level versus, I don't think it matters who they play. You have Jonathan Taylor, you have AR on the ground, you have a really good offensive line, and some really good run blocking receivers on Pittman, and then you have big tight ends that can block. I think the Colts will be able to pull off just enough because of the big star power and Taylor and AR on the ground. Not as a quarterback as a whole, but AR on the ground. And you have other guys that can make big plays. Josh Downs can make big plays out of small throws, out of small plays. Adonai Mitchell, I'm excited to see him come into action. He ran a really good 40 time. I think it was like 4.34. Some questions about his character. Colts are going to take a shot on him, and hopefully he turns out, man. Hopefully he becomes a great deep threat for Anthony Richardson because Alec Pierce has not been able to do so. So I do have the Colts finding a way against the Bears, and the Colts going 2-1 so far. So next up, we got the Steelers. Okay. Beat the Steelers last year, and we beat them pretty well. We did a pretty good job against the Steelers last year. First time we beat them since 2009. And, throw that little fun fact in there. But I don't think it's going to happen again this year. I don't think we beat the Steelers again this year. The Steelers' defense was not very good last year. They've made a couple tweaks. They've made quite a few improvements. And I think that Steelers' defense is going to find a way. Don't forget TJ Watt was out for a good portion of the year. So I think that the Steelers are going to give the Colts a very hard time this game. Now, if the Colts can get their run game going and AR doesn't make too many big mistakes, he just throws the ball, get it to his guys, doesn't make too many big mistakes, I think the Colts can win this one. Because Russell Wilson's still probably going to be playing at this time. The Colts defensive line is going to be awesome. They're going to be great. They're going to get pressure all day long on Wilson. And I think that Russell Wilson's really going to struggle against the Colts if he's playing. I think if Justin Fields plays, I think the Colts are going to have a harder time because the Steelers do have some firepower. Okay, offense line is iffy. It's okay. Steelers defense, we'll see if they could, kind of get better again this year. TJ Watt coming back, and we'll see what the Steelers defense has. You know what? I think the Colts could win this game. I think they could. I really think the Colts can win this game because, if Russell Wilson's still playing, I don't see Russell Wilson playing at a high level like he did last year with the Broncos. Was it towards the second half of the season or for a good part of the season, Russell Wilson actually surprised us and played pretty well. It found like Russell found a little bit of his old rhythm again. But now he's in a new system once again. I mean, he is with Tomlin. He is with the Steelers. The Steelers always find a way to make it work. They always find a way to get stuff done. Always find a way to get above 500. But I think the Colts beat the Steelers for the second year in a row. Now, it was a quick little audible on my end there, but the Colts should be able to beat the Steelers. They should. Looking at it again, talking about it a little more, maybe change my mind. I think Shane Steichen and Mike Tomlin are both phenomenal head coaches, and we'll see who wins the chess match here. I think the Colts Colts and Steelers both have a good defensive line, good front sevens, secondaries both are a little. I think the Steelers secondary is better, by a lot. It's not saying much because the Colts secondary is not too much there, honestly. But besides a couple players I mentioned earlier, so beating the Steelers, yes. I'm gonna say to beat the Steelers. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Having Shane Steichen, even though he's going up against Mike Tomlin, I think Shane Steichen's gonna find a way, and the Colts are gonna find a way to win this game. Okay, then we have the Jaguars in Jacksonville. Look, man, It's in Jacksonville. We all know how the Colts play in Jacksonville in week 1. I say that doesn't end here. I say it only continues to go. I think this goes on another year with the Colts going to Jacksonville, losing in Jacksonville in a very bad fashion. I don't think the Colts, I don't think the Jaguars are a great football team. And I don't think Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback. I don't think he's as good as what he got paid for. But it's going to be enough to beat the Colts. Okay? They still have some good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. They drafted Brian Thomas Jr. They still have some solid players. They do. Their offensive line is decent. They have, who's their running back? Travis Etienne. He's a beast. Their defense is okay. It's good defense. It's nothing special. It's nothing to write home about. But they have some really good pieces. And I think the Jaguars' defense is okay. I think it's good. And I think, against a team like that, I think the Colts are going to struggle against. Trevor Lawrence has always diced up the Colts, has always killed the Colts. Now, hopefully this changes. Hopefully we find a way to beat the Jaguars in Jacksonville this year. I don't think it's going to happen. So I have the Jaguars winning this game. So next up, at Tennessee, at the Titans Stadium, I think we beat the Titans. The Titans do have some really good receivers. Quarterback is a bit of an issue for them. Nothing to blow you away there. Their quarterback situation is not very good, but we'll see. Maybe one of their quarterbacks can figure it out this year between Levis and I think they sold Malik Willis or something like that. They have some guys there that given a chance, maybe they'll figure it out. But that I don't think the Colts. No, I do have the Colts win this one. My bad. I do think the Colts will take this one. They're in Tennessee, and how I've been saying, how the Colts play in Jacksonville. They're not very good in Jacksonville, but usually they're pretty good at against the Jaguars at home. It's kind of like you flip that with the Titans. We always play good against the Titans in their stadium, and the Titans play good against us in our stadium. It's just a trend that we've had. It's weird. It just seems like that's how it goes, but. Titans defense, not in too much there. Their defensive line is okay. They can get a little bit of pressure, but it's going to be enough. I think the Colts are going to be able to run all over the Titans, to be honest with you. I think they're going to be able to run very well. And, I think Anthony Richardson can make a couple big plays in this game. Titans, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of their defense. I don't think their defense is anything special. And I think the Colts are really going to take advantage of that on the ground. Maybe Anthony Richardson make a couple big plays in the air. And Shane Steichen's going to be ready. He's going to be ready for this game. He's going to put the Colts in a good position, and boom, Colts are going to get their win against Tennessee in Tennessee. Against the Titans in Tennessee, Colts take it there. Week 7 against Miami Dolphins. I don't think I need to spend too much time on this one. All Tua needs to do is get the ball out quick, and boom, 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 boom. 72 points later, the Dolphins beat the Colts. And I hate to put it that simple and be that negative, and I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just being realistic. You look at this Dolphins offense, who they got at the helmet quarterback. He's like a Drew Brees type of quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa is a beast. He is awesome. They need to give him. They should pay him. They need to pay him immediately. He should be paid more than Trevor Lawrence, but with the amount of money Lawrence was paid, we'll see what happens. But it's just kind of how the market goes. And a mediocre player gets paid a lot. The best of the best, the better players are going to be paid more. It's just going to raise the market and kill the market even more. But Tua, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, don't forget they signed OBJ. Their offensive line is not anything special, but that could be where we figure it out. But at the same time, the Dolphins just have to get the ball out quick, and boom, 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 72 points later, the Colts lose. We're at home. Maybe we can get some pressure on Tua. And, I don't think we're really going to kill it on offense either. Dolphins have a somewhat decent defense. They had a good defense last year. I think it's going to carry over, and I think the defense is going to be just as good, if not better. So I think this is going to be a tough game to watch. This is going to be a hard game to watch at home. So Miami Dolphins, taking the Miami Dolphins over the Colts, it's not really too much of a difficult one there, if you ask me. Then you go into Houston, playing the Texans for the second time. Same thing. You have CJ Stroud. He's a beast. You have all those weapons, Diggs. This time we're at Houston this time. I mean, our offense isn't going to be able to keep up, man. CJ Stroud's a monster. He's going to be hitting his stride in middle of the season. Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Robert Woods, Joe Mixon, Damian Pierce, Dalton Schultz, a decent offensive line against a very inexperienced secondary. Is not very good last year. Didn't make many changes to it this year. Not a good formula for success against a division rival. Would not shock me one bit if the Texans win the division. Would not shock me one bit if the Texans make the Super Bowl. That's how highly I think of the Texans. So, Week 9, Vikings. I'm chalking this down as an L as well. Vikings defense, decent, pretty good defense. Offensive-wise, who's at the helm is a little scary, but the rest of the offense, pretty darn good. You have some really big playmakers. Of course, you have the best receiver in the league in Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in the league. You have Jordan Addison, who is an incredible number 2. He is very, very good. One of the best number 2s in the league. No matter how small he is, he's going to make plays. He made plays every single week last year. He was incredible. He was clutch in a couple moments. Then you're playing TJ Hawkinson, one of the best tight ends in the league. A really, really, really good offensive line. Even though their quarterback isn't anything special. You have Sam Darnold. They drafted J.D. McCarthy. Not a fan of any of those guys. So I don't think McCarthy is going to be anything special. I think McCarthy is going to be average at best in the NFL, if that. Yeah. But, with all those weapons, McCarthy is a guy that can just get the ball out, quick, or, he's just a guy that can get the ball out, to his guys and let his guys make plays. And that's all they're going to need against a very inexperienced secondary and they're not good at tackling. These guys are not good at tackling. So, yeah, I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings to beat the Indianapolis Colts. And you have the Buffalo Bills against Josh Allen. Now we'll see, how they do without Diggs. We'll see how Allen does. I mean, I'm sure Allen will be fine. He's a great quarterback. Very good at what he does. Great runner. He is what Anthony Richardson wants to be. He's who we want Anthony Richardson to be. Just not going to happen. Bills going to rock the Colts, even though we're at home, Indianapolis. I don't see the Colts overcoming the Buffalo Bills, whether they're at home. Even them being at home, I don't see it. Bills have a good defense, really good defense. And this is when the Bills usually play the best football as well in the middle of the season. Usually they seem like they're unstoppable. No. It's usually the other way around. The Bills usually struggle in the middle of the season. So maybe we got a shot, upset them. But nah, I don't see it. I don't think so. Week 11 against the Jets in New York. Once again, technically in New Jersey. You're playing a healthy Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson. There's some really good weapons on, for the Jets. And it's kind of like the same theme over and over again. If the other team has a really good quarterback, if they have a decent offensive line and, they have some really good weapons, I mean, it's going to be a long day for the Colts defense. And I don't think the offense, unless, the opposing defense has a really bad running defense or, a rushing game, I don't think the Colts have a good shot at beating some of these better football teams with Anthony Richardson at the helm. I don't think Anthony Richardson can make those big plays in the passing game when you need him to be. I don't know if he can make, those big clutch plays. He's too inconsistent. He's too inaccurate. You can't trust him. He's too risky. Now, is he going to try and plow through people on a 3rd down and 20 and get it? Yes. But he's going to get himself hurt. And then before you know it, we're going to be playing Joe Flacco. Or Sam Ehlinger or Keaton Slovis. I think Keaton Slovis better. I hope he beats Sam Ehlinger. I hope he gets on the roster. I don't know if he will because Ehlinger's been in here a couple of years, but it doesn't hurt. He's going to be QB3. It doesn't hurt to give Keaton Slovis a shot, but Keaton Slovis is going to have to earn it. He's going to have to earn it. So against the Jets, playing Aaron Rodgers, I don't know how good Aaron Rodgers is going to be. We'll give the Colts that, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers should have too much of an issue with the weapons that he has playing against a team that has a very inexperienced secondary. Really good defensive line. We could get pressure for days on Rodgers. And Rodgers, he's not the biggest of movers. He could evade pressure, but Rodgers isn't the best in the world. Well, he was awesome, incredible. But we'll see, if he, well, I don't know why I'm saying the best in the world, but you know what I mean. Rodgers, we'll see what he comes back as. He's not the best in the world at evading pressure because he's not fast enough. He's not very fast, but he's a very smart quarterback, very accurate. We'll see where he's at when he comes back. We'll see where he is at this point in the season. Will his arm fail him by the time this time? I don't know. But regardless, they have some really good, darn good running backs. Their defense should be more than enough. They might struggle against the run a little bit, and the Colts might be able to get the run game going a little bit. But, if you're asking me, are you taking Aaron Rodgers in his twilight years, or are you taking Anthony Richardson? And, at any point in his career, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. And, I think that's pretty normal. That's what everyone would take. We'll see how Anthony Richardson turns out, but as I've said, Anthony Richardson, not a fan. Yeah. Jets, no go. It's an L on the road. All right, now we're playing the Detroit Lions in Week 12. Once again, really good quarterback. Jared Goff has revived his career. What Goff are we going to get? I think we're going to get the Goff we got last year. He's in a really good system. Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, I think it is. He is a mastermind. He is absolutely incredible. Another year in the system, more weapons, really good offensive line. They can run the darn ball, and they play some really damn good defense. The Colts are going to lose against the Lions at home. Then you're at New England. I know, pretty big losing streak there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losing streak. I mean, that's a tough schedule. Maybe the Vikings are beatable, and depending on what Aaron Rodgers you have, maybe you could beat the Jets. The Lions, nah. And now we're on to the Patriots in Week 13. I say they turn around going into the bye week. They find a way to beat the New England Patriots. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Drake May. The Patriots are pretty anemic on offense. What are they, are they really going to turn the corner that fast? I don't think the Patriots are going to be anything special this year. I think they're going to struggle. Don't have too many weapons. Defense is not too special. They have a couple of nice playmakers. Defense is okay. Not great. Not going to be anything special. And I think the Colts are going to run down the throat on the Patriots and just run all day long. Maybe make a couple plays in the air. And I truly think the Colts will beat the Patriots in this situation. Week 14 is the bye week. You get a little break coming off of the big, not really a big win, but, you got some momentum. You go into the bye. You come out in Week 15. And I say you lose to the Broncos. I say Bo Nix is playing by now. And I say Bo Nix does a phenomenal job against the Indianapolis Colts secondary. Very inexperienced secondary, as Nix will be as well. But Nix is a very good quarterback. Nix has some incredible attributes. I think he is an awesome quarterback. And, coming to the NFL, sometimes it takes a little while for them to adjust. But I don't think Bo Nix is going to take too long to adjust. He's a great quarterback, has awesome attributes that translate well to the NFL. I'm taking Bo Nix all day long. I'm taking Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos over the Colts all day long. The Broncos should be all right against the run, but the Colts should be able to get the run game going against the Broncos too. But I honestly think that Bo Nix, and his passing ability over Anthony Richardson's, is going to be a difference. I think they're going to be able to pass the ball all day long as he can get that ball out quick, get him to some good weapons he's got, and I think he'll be fine. All right, Week 16, Titans at home. I say you beat the Tennessee Titans the second time around. You're at home, and I say you beat the Tennessee Titans. Oh wait, did I screw that up? Hold on. Okay, so no, we're just gonna stick with that. I'll stick with the Colts sweeping the Titans. I think it's very possible. They do have some really good weapons, and the Colts secondary might struggle to contain them. But I think whoever the quarterback is, I think they're gonna struggle. Against the pressure of the Colts, because the Titans' offensive line is nothing special. So I think whoever is the opposing quarterback for the Titans are really going to struggle against that or against that Colts defensive line, and maybe Julius Brents will be hitting his stride by now, and Jalen Jones will be a little better by now. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Indianapolis Colts over the Titans the second time around as well. I'm taking the Colts sweeping the Titans. Very possible. Very possible. Titans defense, like I said, it's nothing crazy, nothing special. So I'm taking the Indianapolis Colts to sweep the Titans. Week 17 against the New York Football Giants. I am going to say we're going to beat the Giants as well. This game is to be declared. We don't know if it's going to be a primetime game or not yet? I don't think so. At this point in the season, when the Colts aren't too good and the Giants are probably going to be above the middle of the road kind of a team, I think I don't think this is going to be in a prime slot. I don't think it should be. We'll see how the season goes, but Giants, I think we should be able to beat the Giants. Malik Neighbors is a big worry. I think they have Devin Singletary now as one of their running backs. I mean, they have Darius Slayton, Wando Robinson. These are guys, Darius Slayton is a good deep threat. Got Malik Neighbors, who is a monster, who will probably carve up the Colts. Probably carve up every team he plays. Any cornerback you put in front of Malik Neighbors, I think Malik Neighbors is going to give a hard time all day long. So, but still, I think, Giants offensive line got some good pieces in there, but it's not going to be enough. The Colts defense line is going to get after Jones all day long, and that's going to make it difficult for Jones, knowing that there's pressure coming, knowing that he's going to get hit. But although I'll say Jones is better than what people give him credit for. Giants defense can be really solid. You have Deonte Banks, really good front. I do think that the Colts are going to be able to get the run game going with AR and JT. I say that the Colts, I say that they hit a big play beginning of the game, and then it just opens up the run game for the rest of the game. Anyways, I think the Colts should be able to run on them if that doesn't happen or not. Colts should be able to run the ball pretty well. Really good offensive line. And, but at this point in the season, teams might know that the run game is coming, just because of how poor the passing game is. Sometimes the first half of the season, first couple of games of a quarterback's, of a rookie quarterback's first season looks pretty good. Well, it's not even his first season, but teams adjust. That's all I'm saying. Teams are going to adjust to what the Colts are doing best and not doing well. And this could be one of those games where that happens, but I'm going to say that the Colts find a way. This is one of those games the Colts find a way to beat the Giants. And then week 18, I'm going to say that the defensive line wins in that game, the Colts. That defensive line, the Colts defensive line, I'm going to say that they win in this game. They're going to be a big reason why they win that game. And they, cause a couple fumbles, put the Colts in good field position, that kind of stuff. All right, week 18, Jaguars at home. Let's see if we beat the Jaguars the second time around. Trevor Lawrence, all right quarterback. Jaguars have a middle-of-the-road defense. Talked about them a little bit earlier. I don't think the Jaguars sweep us. I think we catch one of the Jaguars right at the end of the year, and we end the year with some momentum. We won 4 out of the last 5 games after the long losing streak, and it looks like I have us at an okay 8-9. So that's my prediction for the Indianapolis Colts season. It's all right. I think they have a really good football team. And they have a couple of teams here that they could beat that are very beatable. But you have that killer, the death row in the middle there. You have the Dolphins, the Texans. You get a little bit of an easier one with the Vikings, or then you get the Bills, the Jets with Rodgers, the Lions. It is a really, really, really difficult middle of the schedule for the Colts. But if they could find a way to win 1 or 2 of those, maybe they could find their way into the playoffs if Anthony Richardson figures something out in the passing game somehow. A miracle hits him and he finds a way, he figures something out. Then maybe we win 1 or 2 of those games. I think I was a little generous with some of these games as well. I think I was a little generous at the end. But I don't have very high hopes for this Colts team. I think 8-9 is optimistic because of Anthony Richardson. Now, like I said, this is a solid football team. They have a lot of really good pieces set in place. Defensive line is awesome. I say we're missing the 2 of some of the most important things. Front 7 is great. Offensive line is really good. We are a quarterback and a cornerback away from competing. But since we're in a conference where you gotta pass to keep up and you gotta stop the pass to keep up to win the game, yeah, I don't think the Colts really can contend. I don't think the Colts can really contend with any of these teams in the AFC that are very high powered, like a Miami Dolphins, like a Buffalo Bills or Jets or Texans in our own division. It's gonna be tough. We'll see. You guys let me know what you think. Let me know how you think the Colts are going to do this year, what the record is going to be. Give me your win-loss prediction. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where fans welcome. If you enjoy this video, make sure to like, subscribe, Put the post notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos. This is JDW Sports Talk Show signing off.